if you got a girl, don't mean no disrespect, but thoughts of you rule my world. I even dream of you, I swear.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Happy Hour Talks with.
My name is Ruth.
And I'm China. And on this week's episode, I just wanted to touch bases and show a little love to the Halle Bailey. As we all know, her new movie with Disney, The Little Mermaid, came out May 26th, and it's been doing really awesome at the box office. And I just wanted to know, Ruth, have you been to see it?
Yes, a few episodes ago, I mentioned that I wouldn't watch it in theaters. I would just wait for it to come out on Netflix or something. But I ended up taking myself on a solo date to
Love
go
it.
watch it. And it was really good. Like, as someone who's not wasn't really growing up watching Disney films, I was very shocked and pleased about the results, and especially Halle Bailey as Ariel. It was very, very good. 10 out of 10. But did you grow up watching Disney at all? And have you or will you be watching The Little Mermaid?
Yep, I definitely grew up watching Disney, but I think I was more into like Nickelodeon. But definitely still love Disney movies. I haven't went to see The Little Mermaid yet. I think we actually switched places because I feel like initially I was the one that was like, "Oh, I'm definitely going to see it," and I just haven't went to see it. I think my reasons for not going to see it are basically I just have been busy and I've just been prioritizing other stuff I wanted to do over going to see The Little Mermaid. If it comes out on DVD or if it comes out on streaming services before I go to see it in the theaters, I'm okay with that. I still think I'm gonna watch it. I have no problems watching it. I do remember initially watching the cartoon version of The Little Mermaid when I was younger. So yeah, I'd love to see this live action version. I've just been busy and putting other things over it. But something that, when we first heard that The Little Mermaid was going to be Halle Bailey, I feel like there was a lot of backlash. And, it kind of gave us a little inkling into the racial dynamics that is still going on in a lot of Americans' heads and just across the world's heads. What was your response to that? Seeing all the memes and the hurtful things people were saying just because they decided to make The Little Mermaid a black actress.
One thing the culture is going to do, and the culture being black folks, we're going to defend our own. So the black people, the uncles and aunties were rioting for Halle Bailey, especially on Twitter. And also, I love the support from the directors and the actors from the movie. They were basically saying, no doubt about it, Halle Bailey was going to be Ariel. It made sense for her to be Ariel. Her talent made sense, her beauty, just everything made sense in general. So I definitely love, again, how the culture we wrote for our girl and also the allies that Halle Bailey had along the way. Her talent is immaculate, and I personally couldn't see anyone playing Ariel today if it wasn't for Halle.
Right, she's so perfect. She's like ethereal and like mystical. Like she has that whole vibe. I'm like, I can't really. It's so crazy. Initially, I probably wouldn't have even thought of Halle Bailey as being someone to be the Little Mermaid. But like after they named her, I'm like, wait a minute, she's perfect for that. She's perfect for that role. I am trying to think when they first announced it. Was it 2020 or 2021? Do you know?
I think it was 2020. The
Okay.
end of, yeah.
Got you. And actually, what I do remember is getting into it with people on social media because they kept going back and forth with this argument. Well, I just feel like the Little Mermaid has red hair, and I just feel like we would be mad if Princess Tiana was a different race. And I just think that it's so funny, and it didn't matter the race of whoever presented this argument because I saw black people had the same argument too. And I just feel like I would always try to explain to them this is a fictional character. Stuff
Mm,
is not real. Um,
mhm.
Mermaids, no matter what religion or spirituality you come from, we haven't seen mermaids, so we don't know what they look like. So it's very possible that they could look like Halle Bailey. They could look like a lot of different things. just trying to explain to people, like, at the end of the day, it's going to matter about the talent. It's going to matter about how the person can deliver acting skills wise and singing ability wise. And Halle is that girl, and she's killing it. And I hope she gets, I don't even know what she can be nominated for with this movie, Oscars,
Yeah.
Tony, I don't know, whatever. I hope she gets nominated for it, because this is an awesome movie that I haven't even seen yet. Just looking at the reviews, looking at how people are talking about it, I know that, like, she's done an awesome job. So I'm excited to see what's next for sure.
Yes. And there were so many discourse about her hair and about her having locks. But again, everything made sense. Like, I don't know if you're been seeing it. A lot of black women now were having goddess braids. It's looking very
Yeah.
wet and watery, summer like. So like when she was swimming in the ocean and then just going about her business like around the beach, it made sense for her to have locks. Unlike the directors, they were seeing things, visioning things that we couldn't even imagine. It just made sense.
I kind of ate when they did that. I will say this makes me excited for like her upcoming projects, with music or with the color purple. But before I touch on the color purple, one thing that people were also having a discourse about was the fact that, she's in a musical group with her sister Chloe. And during this time that she was filming, and, up to the release of The Little Mermaid, Chloe recently released an album. And I think people were kind of one wondering if that meant that Chloe X Halle were breaking up. I'm like, no, they're in like a 5 album deal. They got to do at least one more, at least one more album and one more solo album just to make up for the deal or whatever. And I think people were also feeling like Chloe's album was rushed, and they were wondering if she rushed to get that album out because her sister was also doing a big project and she didn't want to feel like left out. Do you think
Yeah.
about that discussion?
So our in 2021, I think Chloe Bailey really popped off her career while Halle was filming. And Halle was very quiet. She was just filming, barely on Twitter. Like she kept it very low. And Chloe just started releasing a lot of new music, and she was on TikTok. She was just killing it. So I think that hopefully Chloe didn't rush her album being released. I don't think she did, but and also their sister dynamic the Bailey sister have in general is very strong. So I don't think there's any beef there. I hope they do make another album though, like
Mhm.
together really soon because we are craving that as a culture in general. But
Sure.
the Bailey sisters are just talented, and I feel like they're just everywhere right now.
For sure.
They might not be dedicated to the music that we're wanting. So
That's true. See, I was thinking that maybe not just Chloe herself, but her little team definitely felt like, oh, well, we don't want them to forget about you because she's going on to do a big solo project. So let's make sure you go ahead and get some solo songs out there just to like let people know, like, hey, you all are both doing your own thing in your own right. I just think that unfortunately for Chloe, it led to her having a really it's crazy because I can't even say rushed. It's kind of like the Normani discussion, how she still hasn't released a debut album. People were saying after Have Mercy that she should have had more singles in the chamber ready to go. And they were saying that there seemed to be months in between each single, and that wasn't a good idea. We saw Have Mercy in 2021, and then she didn't release her album until 2023. So, it's like on one hand, she didn't rush, but then on the other hand, it's like she did just to make sure she got something out, a project of work before The Little Mermaid. And I felt like the music, it wasn't bad. She could sing wonderfully, but it kind of sounded like it wasn't well organized. It was kind of just a jumble of like filler singles, There was some gems in there if you listen to the album, but in pieces. But it didn't give what it could have. And I'm like, when I listened to Chloe X Halle, their albums as a musical duo, they just always sound really planned out. I'm like, y'all took the time from the titling to the structuring of the numbering of the album, everything. Y'all really took time. And we saw that during COVID, where they were killing the at home performances and releasing good singles. For the first time, we actually saw Beyonce come out and promote their music video on her Instagram. Like, we're like, okay, they planning, they working, they doing what they got to do. So it was just kind of sad to see them go from the album was called Ungodly Hour, to go from that era to go to something like Chloe's solo in Pieces. And it's like, wait a minute, this isn't the quality of work you typically do. So is it a matter of y'all not working together? Is Halle the one behind the brain behind it? It's like, no shade, but what happened? I think a lot
I
of people
think,
feel like she dropped the ball.
yeah, sorry to interrupt, but I think Chloe Bailey and her team missed the mark to drop her album. She got really, really popular in 2022 and at the end of 2021, especially with her being on TikTok, Have Mercy, her creating dance challenges. That should have been where she released her album or many, many singles. This wasn't the time. No offense, it wasn't the time, but she can't wait for Halle though, because again, Halle has so many projects going on.
That's
So
true.
you
The thing,
know,
the crazy thing is, Chloe did a movie, a praise movie, praise this or something, and a TV show at the same time. So it's not like they both booked and busy doing music and acting at the same time. But it's
yeah,
just Halle's acting projects are a little bigger, or maybe like they taking up more time, and that's why Chloe's was able to devote more to like actually dropping a whole album during the time they've been kind of separated.
right, right.
Yeah,
But again, please come back with the album or just a few singles. Make time.
I'm not gonna crap though. Halle got this one song called Back and Forth. It's an unreleased snippet and it eats. You need to go listen to that. I mean, if you like that type of music, it's kind of giving soulful, like maybe
Okay.
like Jill Scott, Erica Badu. Like she's about to fall in Ari Lennox. She's about to fall in that type of like genre, but it really gives. So I'm excited to see what Halle does give to us solo album wise. And I'm excited to see what Chloe does too. I know she's not just going to give up after one album. I'm sure we're going to get a second solo album. But hopefully before they both release something
Yeah.
solo, I want another Chloe X Halle.
Ooh. And now that Halle Bailey is a princess or a Disney princess, is there like a contract in place where she can't sing certain kind of music? Can she be herself, like just give the
I think
same
she can. She surely be on TikTok and social media. It's giving very much the check cleared. I can say what I want.
period? Yes.
Disney, I feel like Disney today, I mean, I don't watch Disney Channel, but I feel like Disney today is different from like Disney back in the day. So I feel like there's a lot of things that they can do. Seeing China and McClain or Dove Cameron or, seeing them post on social media, I'm like, you can do that? I thought y'all had like an NDA or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Y'all had to sign where y'all couldn't do stuff. So
But please imagine like a little girl seeing like Princess Ariel twerk, and I'm like, this is modern times, honey, 2023.
a new time. Yes.
I love that.
Me too.
Um, but yeah, the Bailey sisters again, overall killing it. We're excited to see more projects from them in general.
I know Halle has the color purple coming up. So that looks like a star-studded cast, and it's like a musical version of the color purple. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
interesting. That gives us another way to look at it. Do you know if you'll be tuning into that possibly?
I'm not. This is me. I always go back on my word, y'all. But I'm not a musical girl. So
Ooh,
the color purple in general is a really hard watch. Like it
it
takes a
is
lot of energy. Plus you're adding the dynamic of like the singing along. I'm not. I'm. I know it's
interesting.
gonna be good.
I don't connect like musical works with Oprah. So I'm like, if she's the director, producer, whatever, like I'm trying to see what What were you thinking, Oprah, when you decided that Color Purple needs to be made into a musical? And I get that music is emotional and, it can carry a lot of feelings. So The Color Purple is, like you said, it's a hard watch, very emotional, a lot of historical stuff, a lot of abuse and trauma that can definitely be showcased through music. But I'm like, when I heard that it's going to be a musical, I was like, that is so random. That's like, I don't know, what's a classic movie? I don't know, any black classic movie, us
Yeah.
suddenly hurt, us suddenly getting a musical version of that.
And I wonder if they know the target audience for the color purple. Like, obviously, it's going to be black people, but did they research if we want a musical from the color
Black women is
purple?
who I assume, but I'm like, older
Yeah.
black women, middle aged black women. I'm like, I didn't know we was doing that. But hey, Oprah is probably in her creative girl era, and this is what she wants to do.
Yeah. So we would just have to watch it. And for it to prove us wrong, I didn't think I would be watching The Little Mermaid, and I did. It was
Yeah.
fantastic. Hopefully, The Color Purple is going to be fantastic. And will
Mhm.
this be in theaters, or is it just going to be on like BT or?
I believe it is going to be in theaters, but I don't know if it's going to be like maybe like a smaller release.
Okay.
I do believe it's going to
All
be in
right.
theaters.
Well, overall, two huge movies for Halle Bailey in 2023. Just booked and busy, but I don't think I have any other things to talk about in terms of Little Mermaid, Halle Bailey. Do you have anything, China?
I do, but we want to bring them up during this episode. So that's all I
Ooh,
got to say. Excited for Halle Bailey.
yes. But thank you all so much for watching. Comment down below what you all want to hear or listen to. So we will talk to you all later then. Bye.